What's up guys, my name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and welcome back to a brand new video on Apex Legends. Last night we covered Pathfinder and Wraith, and those videos are up on the channel, but today we're doing a legend guide on none other than Bloodhound himself. This month's giveaway, the March giveaway, is Dirt 3, the awesome racing game on Steam. So if you want to enter, make sure to subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and click the link in the description below. Also make sure to click in the comment section and drop your opinion on the video. The link in the description and the comments allows you to enter the giveaway. Now I had to recruit a little bit of help on this video and all the tips because I don't play Bloodhound, but luckily I know someone who does. So some of these tips are compiled from other people and some are compiled from certain videos and my own experience from playing Bloodhound. So let's jump into Bloodhound, shall we? So Bloodhound is one of the most aggressive legends in the game currently, and for good reason. Basically because Bloodhound hunts enemies down like a predator across the map. You can use so many different pieces of your kit to just hunt down everybody, and you're just basically a relentless predator. Everyone's going to be scared of you, and if you're coupled with good aim, good use of mechanics, good strategy and a good team composition, as well as good players on your team, you're going to be the most terrifying thing to go up against on the map. Along with this great power and great kit though, you need to make sure you're prepared with your weapons out when approaching an enemy with caution, because you need to keep an eye on the time since enemies were tracked. Now we'll mention that a little bit later when we look into the kit being the Q and the ultimate ability. Some Bloodhounds are constantly on the move to follow footsteps, which can mean you can walk straight into enemies or be split or too far away or ahead of your team. So you need to try and find a balance between this, because a lot of people will split away from your team and they'll run straight ahead and split from the team because they're so focused on tracking those footsteps and getting into enemy lines and trying to get into combat that the team will be far behind looting, which is another problem, and they'll just not be together. So you need to be focused on staying with your team, maybe using the microphone for communication, and basically just using the information you have from your kit to give your team info. The passive is called Tracker, which leaves small map icons which actually show you if enemies are climbing, looting, or have performed other game actions, which actually allows you to track this, so you know if enemies had climbed or actually accessed other objects or opened doors, for an example, in the past few seconds. This is really useful, and this passive is going to be the main core of your gameplay and how to utilize all that additional information. You can also tell teammates about enemy footprints, which you see via this passive, which are highlighted, as well as the last positions of enemies, which are highlighted in an orange line. This is great because you can see where enemies have been, and this is where you can really get deadly and start hunting down those enemies. You need to tell teammates about these enemy footprints though, because it's super important to use your kit to notify your team about info, because you may have all this information at your disposal, but if you don't use it to notify your team, you're not really going to get anywhere and you're not utilizing the character and its kit to its max potential. Now one thing that's super important that not everybody knows though is that when Wraith actually goes into void walking mode, which is that Q where she goes into a different dimension, she basically doesn't leave any footprints. That's where she sees all those silhouettes and shadows everywhere, and when she's in that form, she's basically in a different dimension because she's jumping into the void. She's void walking, which means the footprints she leaves behind are not in this world or not in this void dimension, if you like. So basically, when you're using your tracking ability on Bloodhound, when Wraith dives into this form, she's not going to leave behind any footsteps. So this is basically what Wraith can do to kind of bridge that gap between a Bloodhound, and it's also a good counter versus a Bloodhound, but it also means that the Bloodhound's going to find it a little bit harder to track Wraith. But Wraith in void walking form is not going to last too long, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now you can ping all of these things to call out to your team, but using a microphone for call outs is beneficial. Remember, when you get matched up with random team players and random teammates, most of them never seem to use the microphone, and a lot of them, let's be honest, don't even bother utilizing the ping system so well. At least ping these things that you actually learn about with your kit, or at least use your microphone if you have one. It's always so demoralizing and bad when you have a team that doesn't communicate, and what's worse is a team that doesn't have many kills or score, but they still don't even talk. I'd rather have a teammate with 1 kill that talks than a teammate with 5 who doesn't even talk or communicate. It's super important. You don't have to be a good player, but just communicate with your team. The ability also lets you know the time since enemies will last in the area, and it should last somewhere up to 45 seconds. This is really useful because if it says 10 seconds for example, you know that enemies have recently been in the area and they were extremely close, and you need to be cautious, and you need to be willing to push the enemies because they've been in the vicinity. The Q ability is your scanner ability. This is the core of your kit and one of the most useful things, but you need to bear in mind that it does have some downsides to it. Now, the scanner does have a range, but it can be used for distance and it shows enemy positions. However, these positions are not in real time, but rather the most recent position. This can be great to push people who are inside buildings, for an example, or outside buildings, or campers specifically, because they're not going to move, so their last position is going to be more accurate and adjacent to what their current position is going to be. So for an example, if someone's in a static position and they're hiding behind a rock to revive the teammate and they're in a rush, well, Bloodhound's going to come in, smash down that queue, and the hunt's going to begin, because they're such an easy target because they don't even move. Now, the scan doesn't have a 360 degrees radius to it, which kind of makes it a little weaker, which is good for the balancing, and it's more of a directional cone, so you do have to face towards the enemy target direction when scanning to pick them up, although it has a 35 meter range, and it also has a 35-second cooldown, which, if you think about for what it is a pretty large cooldown. But like I said before, Bloodhound would be pretty overpowered if he didn't have large cooldowns on his kit. If you use a sniper with a scope, then you can actually access other fundamentals of Bloodhound's abilities. For an example, with a sniper scope, you can see people opening doors or ziplining with your core abilities. The ultimate is mainly only good for looking inside buildings or in open close range, in terms of combat that is, but it works kind of like a digital threat sight. This is because it highlights all of the enemies in red, and when you rush them, it means that they're really going to stand out, and it's going to be a lot easier to aim because you know exactly what you're hitting. You can see caustic traps as well, and Apex loot robots in game, which means you're going to snag up all of that loot faster than your teammates, and it's also going to be super useful to avoid those tricky gas traps, which, let's be honest, can get a lot of us killed when we drop in the tunnel. The ultimate also gives you a speed boost, which, if I'm honest, is pretty overpowered. It helps you run away from the zone, you gain red eyes and get a predator-like vision, like what we mentioned before. This is where Bloodhound gets pretty terrifying, and all I can say is blessed me with sight, because the enemy team is going to go running when a good Bloodhound gets his ult activated. The ultimate ability does last for 35 seconds though, like we mentioned before, and it lets you see through smoke grenades, such as in Bangalore's abilities case. This can be super useful, like we said, in terms of the digital threat sight, which is basically kind of like using Bloodhound's ultimate for close range weapons, but it's going to give you this exact thing, so you can see through smoke grenades and you can basically just rush people when they're trying to hide behind cover or the guise of the smoke grenade. You can look for enemy positions at far distances away as well with your ultimate, and then tell your teammates about these targets. So all in all, this has just been a cover and kind of like an overlook at the core fundamentals of Bloodhound and how he plays in Apex Legends. I hope these tips and tricks have been useful for a lot of you guys. This was mainly aimed at beginners, but I do hope a lot of these tips have been beneficial to your play and your playstyle as Bloodhound, and will help you get better as this legend. Every single day I'm going to be releasing a new guide on all of the legends and any new legends that come out. I'll be trialing them all out, playing them, and then making a legend guide on how to play them like a pro and the best tips to use. If this tutorial helped you, then definitely smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more daily Apex Legends content and gaming content. Any of you guys who subscribe and like the video, I'm going to be giving back to you guys for giving me a lot of support on this channel, because I really do appreciate it. So you guys will be in the chance to win the monthly giveaway. The monthly giveaway is legitimate, but you do need to follow the link in the comments and the description to actually enter. Now, you need to be subscribed, you need to like the video, and click on the link below so we can track your entries. This month's Steam game giveaway is Dirt 3 the racing game, so you can get your hands on that and be the lucky subscriber. But if you're subscribed, I give away a Steam game every single month, or a different thing in a game, to my loyal viewers, just to show appreciation. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you next time.